that. I was supposed to take it off.
It's okay.
Richie walked in and I was like,
great.
no.
So mine's gold.
Mine's silver. Okay, it's cool.
We're good.
It's cool.
So they're different, right? Yeah? Welcome to Edge, everybody. My name is Richie. This is Caitlin. We're part of the team here. And we are really excited that you guys are here. Are you excited to be here? Wow, this section, they beat you. If you're wondering, they won. But really, we want to welcome you. Guys, Edge is the high school ministry at Kensington Church, and we gather here every Sunday night to be in community, to have a ton of fun, and see what God might do in and through our lives. So we're excited that you're here.
Yeah, and if you are here for the first time, we are so glad that you have joined us tonight. And our hope is that over the next, 45 minutes or so, you would have a chance to feel connected into a community that really is more like a family. And so my challenge to you would be, no matter where you're at in terms of, God or friends or any of that stuff, just kind of focus in for the next little bit, because I think that if you do, you're going to feel connected into something much bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, so we got a few announcements for things coming up that we're really excited about. So last week we announced this, and I'm super pumped for it. We're starting something all throughout the Thursdays in October called house parties. Yeah, so here's what's happening. Yes, Jenna and I, my wife, we just moved to downtown Rochester, like almost across the street from the park. Anybody been in the area before? Yeah, sweet. So we, with the two communities together, Troy and Shelby merging this year, we thought, what better way to get to know each other, to hang out, than throw some house parties at our new house. And so this Thursday we're kicking off. So where are my seniors at? If you're a senior, raise your hand. Yeah. So seniors, you're invited to my house this Thursday at 6:30. We're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna have a bonfire, some food, maybe go to the park, chill. It's gonna be great, but we would love to have you guys come out. And the rest of the grades, you'll be later this month, so be on the lookout for that.
Cool. Yeah, and how many people need community service hours? Anybody, where you at out there? I know all of you in high school, it's like, oh, I gotta do those community service. Hey, we have a really great way for you to get some hours, but also have a chance to get connected into the greater Kensington movement, and that is by helping out at the Hope Water Project Marathon. Coming up, it's October 15th. Richie's gonna be running. If you didn't know, he's running the marathon. You did, right? Did you?
I ran 1 year. Top 5 worst decisions in my life.
How long did you train?
Long time.
Long time.
I'm gonna be honest, my wife made me run, it was miserable.
So it's a way to cheer them on and to get some hours and serve and have a lot of fun with the community. So be sure you can sign up in small groups to do that, but make sure you jump on that and join us.
Yes, it's gonna be great. But hey, we're launching another thing tonight that I'm really, really excited about. It's something really near and dear to my heart that we've done at Shelby for the past few years, and with us coming together, we want to kick it off as one family. We're kicking off a student leadership team with both campuses together on one team, and we're having applications start tonight. And so what is a student leadership team? It's really for anybody that calls this place home and wants to see the mission move forward around here. It's for people who are ready to maybe take a next step of growth in leadership in your own life, or just in the ministry here with Edge. And so really, if you've been coming for a while and you want to see God move continually through this, and you want to see Him do newer and greater things in your life too, I just want to invite you to maybe think about applying into that. And so how that'll work is, at the end of Edge, there's applications right outside the doors. I'll be standing there, and if you're interested in applying, you can take an application, and then you'll need to bring it next week filled out. And then from there, we'll go through the process of getting you on the team. But it's really, really been one of my favorite parts about serving as students, is being with some of you leaders and watching God move in your life. And so if you are not a part of that, and God's maybe put that on your heart or mind, I want to invite you to take that step tonight to maybe grab that. So meet me after Edge, before small groups, outside, and grab an application.
Awesome. Well, if you didn't hear last week, coming up in just a few weeks, we have our annual Wild Retreat. It's coming up October 20th. Wild, yeah. October 27th through the 29th. Pastor Richard maybe is going to make an appearance. But it is going to be an amazing weekend away at Spring Hill. We're going to have a ton of fun, but it's also going to be a chance to get together and really grow as a family and a community. And so we thought, in order to have a little fun and to kind of talk about the Wild Retreat, we would play a game called Kahoot. Where are my Kahoot fans at? All right, so here's how it's going to work. If you haven't before, they're going to put up a website login. Something's going to go up there. We got it? We got it. Maybe. We don't have it.
We got it.
We do. I keep getting the stat. Hey! So you need to go to kahoot.it and enter the pin 244687. I do have prizes for the winners.
$1 million.
$1 million. No, that's not it. I got iTunes gift cards. I got Starbucks gift cards. The winners are gonna get something. And if your name is inappropriate, we will kick you out. Just the rules, all right?
Oh, look at all these people joining.
We've got Jesus is here. Jesus is in the room.
Really glad he's here. Super excited.
Whoa.
Whoa. OG Big Mitch is here.
All right, you got 30 seconds. 30 seconds to get in.
Better join.
Go quick.
Don't blow it. Kahoot. Wow.
All right, 10 seconds.
90 people playing.
5 seconds.
Liv, you look confused. Don't know how to read? Someone help her read.
All right, here we go. Drew Daniels is in the house.
Drew Daniels is back. Raise him from the dead.
All right, you better get in. Last seconds. Last second, people.
Don't miss it. Cripple boy cap. Pastor Richard. Fake news. Fake.
He is not here.
Richie's mom
All
doesn't
right.
even know how to use her own phone, so there's no way to explain.
Does she still have a flip phone?
She just got an iPhone, still doesn't know how to text, and accidentally FaceTimes me way too often.
Every day. All right, here we go. Hopefully you know how to play. All you gotta do is click on the answer. All right, female lions do what percentage of the hunting? It's all wild trivia. 0, 15, 50, or 90?
What is it?
Oh, what happened? Hold on. What? What happened? All right, hold on. Pause the game.
No, it's working.
Pause the game.
It's working.
Wait a
No.
minute. Fake news. Okay, hold on.
Fake news.
What happened?
Fake
Here's
news.
my fun tip to you. If you're having issues, turn your Wi-Fi off.
Yes.
Turn your
Use that
Wi-Fi's
data.
off.
Where my unlimited data people at? Hey, shout out.
And if you don't have enough data, ask a friend. I don't want any of your parents calling. You put the bill over.
Yes.
All right,
Sell
here we
those
go.
for church. It's
Next
okay, Mom.
question.
All right.
All right, Ginny.
Genie.
Genie. Rock
There's
on.
not
All right, here we go. In Alaska, it's illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they're moose hunting.
100% true.
True or false? Can you whisper in their ear while they're moose hunting?
There's a moose over there. There's a moose there.
I don't know. I feel like in Alaska that might be true.
I feel like you can kind of create your own laws in Alaska. So
That's
anyone from
also
Alaska? Anyone got family
The
in
answer
Alaska?
is true. You cannot whisper in someone's ear. Jack has taken the lead.
Jack! Not you.
All right, next question. How long can a tarantula spider survive without food?
Wow.
Wild trivia.
It can't.
It can't survive? It's a
That doesn't
month,
make
a
sense.
year, or 2 years?
Anyone got a pet tarantula? No one? Fake.
I don't know.
Fake.
Tarantulas scare me. The answer is 2 years.
Wow.
That's terrifying. All right,
Me
who's in the
too.
lead?
Me
Maddie.
too.
Maddie's got a slim margin. All right, next question. A lion in the wild has roughly how many kills a year? 10, 20, 40, or 50 or more? What do you
What is
think?
it? Oh, who's been watching Discovery Channel? All right, get it
Nat
together.
Geo. My man.
What'd you guess?
What do we think?
What is it?
20.
20.
They average 20. That doesn't seem like very much.
Real stats.
Maddie's still holding the lead.
Maddie!
All right, the bat is the only mammal that can fly.
Nope, I can fly.
Richie, you want to demonstrate your
Yeah,
flying
I'll do it.
ability? Nope.
good. Pretty good.
The answer is true.
True. Guys, come on. That's like third grade. Third grade animal
Itchy
class.
Richie has moved into
Read
the
a book.
lead. Whoever is Itchy Richie,
Richie!
they're in the lead. All right, what does the price jump for our wild retreat and the merchandise come off the website?
Do you know?
The wild retreat, when's it coming down?
May.
Is it October 10th, the 17th, the 27th, or the 24th?
You better know it. What is it?
It's the 10th. Wow.
October
Most of you got it.
10th.
Hey, that is important to note. October 10th, the price is going to go up as well as all the merch is going to come offline. So if you want to get some merch and get in at that lower price, be sure to register. Who's in the lead? Itchy Richie is still in the lead. All right, here we go. Next question. We're almost there. When is the wild retreat?
Tomorrow. Next weekend.
Weekend. See if you were paying attention
This is
2
really
minutes
fun
ago.
dancing music. Anybody else just want to dance? Yes.
The 27th through the 29th. Good job.
Wow. Who
You
said
paid
next
attention.
weekend? See you there.
Don't show up. Itchy Richie is still in the
Come
lead.
on. Who's Itchy Richie?
Almost what percentage of pigs worldwide are kept by farmers in China?
Well, Jack, better get it.
Is it 10, 50, 25, or greater than 50? Pig farmers in China. I don't
All
know.
of them. All the pigs. China.
50% of
Wow.
all the pigs in the world
Exactly 50%.
are in China.
In
That's
China.
terrifying.
China.
All right. Maddie, back to the lead.
Itchy Richie.
All right, here we go. I think we got one more. All right, cows can sleep standing up, but can only dream lying down.
It was all a dream.
True or false? They can sleep standing up, but only dream lying
Who knows
down.
the cows?
How would they ever know if a cow was dreaming?
Well, they produce chocolate milk while they're dreaming, so that's why.
So that's it. The answer is true.
Wow.
How is that possible?
Those
How did they
cow
know that?
scientists really got them.
All right, our final winner is Itchy Richie. Do you want iTunes or Starbucks? Starbucks. All right, I'll get it for you
Starbucks,
after.
gonna get a frappuccino.
Well, hey, Wild is coming up. It's gonna be a ton of fun, so don't miss out on it. It's gonna be a great weekend.
You want to play this video and then we'll get going? You?
Check that out. We might have a video.
Hey. Really excited. Hey, one more thing before we get going tonight. Is Caitlin still here? Where's she at? Guys, Caitlin turns 28 tomorrow. It's her birthday! Everybody, let's sing happy birthday! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear! Guys, you better give me some love on the social medias tomorrow. In week 2, our last week of a series we're calling Grounded. How many of you guys were here last week? Yeah, sweet, cool. So we're in week 2. We're really excited about this. And we started with this series strategically with the things that matter most to our faith at the beginning of the year. What gets us grounded with the Lord. And so even if this is your first night here, or you're new here, this is a perfect series to get started in, to really figure out what are the basics of faith and things like that. And so last week we were talking about one of the things that helps us get grounded is knowing our identity with the Lord, right? We said, when I know how Jesus sees me, I won't let others define me. And so this idea of looking for acceptance, right? Like we all want to be a part of a community, we all want to be accepted into something. And it doesn't necessarily matter that we want to be accepted, but it does matter where we go looking for that. And so tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about that idea of being connected in community, things like that. Because we love being connected, don't we? I mean, even playing that game, connecting on our phones, things like that, fun stuff. We absolutely love being connected. We're constantly on social media, on our phone. Who's on their phone right now? Caught him. Yeah, now you feel down. Just kidding. But really, I don't know if you guys knew this, but your generation, our generation, is the most connected generation in the history of the world. With each other and with what's going on at all times. I mean, we know this though, right? I mean, I can't even remember the last time I went to the bathroom and didn't scroll through Twitter. Right? Like we're constantly, you guys know, right? Like you're sitting on the toilet, took a little bit too long, probably should have got out, back to class, but now just had to keep scrolling through Twitter. But I'm constantly on my phone, right? And I love being connected with people. I actually wish that I could just connect with people through gifts. I wish if there was a form of communication, it would just be through gifts. Anybody else a GIF fan? Yeah? Or is it called GIF? GIF, the great debate of 2017. GIF or GIF, who knows? Here's what I will say though. If you use Bitmojis, I judge you. Alright? They're weird. They're weird. Any Bitmoji fans in the house? Yeah, go. Get out of here. Alright? But here's the deal. We have everything at our fingertips at all times to be connected, right? You can scroll through Twitter while texting a friend and Snapchatting someone else all at the same time. Listen to this stat. This generation will interact in 1 year with more people than our grandparents did their entire life. That's crazy. Through social media, things going on. We have instant access to everything all the time. We are the most connected generation of all time. So I guess because of all that advancement in technology, all the connectedness that goes on in the world, and how much we love being connected with one another, it probably means that we also have the most connected and deeply rooted and real relationships going on with people. Because we got so many relationships, so many people we can connect with, that it probably means that we're also the most deeply connected and real generation of all time, isn't it? No, it's not. It's actually probably the opposite, isn't it? You know, we know this. The problem is that it almost feels like we're over-connected. So over-connected that maybe we have too many shallow connections and not real connections with real people. And so even though we're the most connected generation ever, we're probably also the most disconnected emotionally we've ever been. And here's why. I think technology, being on our phones, constantly putting on a persona of who I am on Instagram or Twitter or all these things, technology lets us hide behind kind of this highlight reel of our life, right? Because we don't necessarily want people to see the real us, because the real us is scary, and we all want to be known and belong, but so often we're afraid that if people actually knew us, if they actually knew who I was, then they wouldn't really accept me for who I am. because I know who I am, and I don't really like me. And so how can I let someone else know the real me? And so even though we're so connected, it also feels we're super disconnected. You know, why is it that we can stand in a crowded room and still feel alone? Or why is it that we can be in relationship or friendship with people or have a boyfriend or girlfriend but still feel lonely? How can we have all of these friends but still feel like no one really knows me? Why is it that 200 people can like my Instagram but I don't even like me? Why does it feel like even though we're connected, no one really knows who I am and I don't really know anybody? I mean, we've all felt this, right? We all have this tendency to shift towards isolation, to be alone, to not let anybody in. Not let anybody in to know my hurts, my insecurities, the things that are really there. But here's what I've learned and what I've seen, is that often we're really good at putting these walls up, putting these masks on. And these same walls we put up that keep us from maybe getting hurt or getting exposed or other people knowing the dark parts of us are also the same walls that are going to keep love out. They're going to keep friendship out. They're going to keep connection out. And they stop us from getting known and being known. And so today I want to talk about this idea of community, but really this idea of being vulnerable in community. And at the end of the day, I think what we're going to see tonight is that vulnerability is the key to community. That vulnerability, being real, being honest with where I'm at and who I am, and finding other people that can love and accept me for who I am, is the key to community. And so my hope tonight, you guys, is that this wouldn't be a night where we're our fake selves, but that we could get real and we would be honest with who I am. And my hope is that this would be a place where you could be honest with who you are. And you'd be loved and accepted for everything that you are, exactly where you're at. And you would encounter a community here like you've never encountered in your life. And so I'm going to pray as we jump into this, that we'd find community built on vulnerability tonight. And really start to shift into that this year. So whether it's your first time or you've been coming here forever, that's my hope, is that you would find a place where you belong and you're loved and you're valued. But it's going to require all of us to be vulnerable in the process. So let me pray and we'll jump in. So Jesus, we just thank you for tonight, God. We thank you for just having fun and just being together. God, I pray over this room right now, God, as we shift into your word, into what you have for tonight. God, would you speak to us? God, could you reveal the real us, the one that you desire to know? God, I pray that friendships would be healed and bonded in depth that we've never known tonight, God. I pray that small groups, that the vulnerability that takes place there is life-changing. And so would you just start now by speaking to us through your word. So we love you, Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen. So we're going to jump into this idea of community, and really this idea of how we all actually need each other. And that it's easy to be alone, but in reality we're wired to be with each other. And so last week, if you were with us, you guys remember we were talking about a guy named David? Anybody? Yeah? Remember, we're going to be looking at his story a little bit more tonight. And I want to take two viewpoints of community in David's life, of the people that surrounded David. And so this first one that we're going to look at, a little fast forward on David's life. This is in 2 Samuel 23. So at this point, David is already king, right? He's already king, and he's fighting all of these battles and wars for Israel. Specifically, he's fighting with this group of people called the Philistines. And when we pick up this story, he's actually fighting for his own life. But he's also got these people around him. How many of you guys have ever heard of David's mighty men? Right? If you haven't, it's great because we're going to go over it. But he's kind of got this like squad around him. This group of people that he calls his mighty men, his boys. And so we pick this up in a situation where David's kind of fighting for his life while he's fighting the Philistines. In verse 15 it says, "And David said longingly," right? He's freaking out. He's about to die. He says, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem that is by the gate." And it says, "Then 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate and carried and brought it to David." And now I know that's super quick, but it gives us this picture really quickly that David had this group of people around him. And then when he would call out for help, his people would rally around him. And then he wasn't even really afraid to call out for help because he knew that his boys would be there. These mighty men. And this example that he was literally surrounded by people that would protect his life at all costs and be with him through everything, right? David knew that he couldn't fight this battle alone, that he wouldn't be able to win this battle alone. And this isn't the first time we see this in the scripture. Actually, the first story in the scripture is really this. How many of you guys have heard the story of Adam and Eve? And there's this part of the story where God looks at Adam and he says, it's not good for man to be alone. Right? That even God, in this perfect relationship that Adam has, he recognizes that there's a miss there. And that miss is community. And so Eve comes and they have this marriage relationship, but really this idea that it's not good for man to be alone. And so I was actually at a conference a few years ago. It was called Passion Conference, and this guy, Judah Smith, spoke on this idea of community. And he was talking about, he actually used this analogy of Discovery Channel. We got any Discovery Channel fans in the house? Yeah? Yes, yeah. What about Shark Week fans? Any Shark Week fans? Yes, I love you. Shark Week, so good, right? You know, Shark Week's crazy, all right? I don't know about you guys, but I remember turning it on at one point and turn it on, it was this program and they were studying great white sharks, right, off the coast of Cape Town. And I don't know what it is about Discovery Channel hosts or Shark Week hosts, but they make everything interesting, don't they? Like you're watching it and it should be boring, but they're over there and they're like, look at this frog! And you're like, wow, now I'm going to watch an hour show about a frog, right? Or they're sitting there and they're like, playing in the dead, look at this dead, it's so deady. They're always Australian too, aren't they? Like, are they even allowed to host the show if they're not Australian? I don't know, but they're always making everything interesting. They're like preachers. And so the minute you turn Shark Week on Discovery Channel, you're like instantly glued. You're like, I don't know what I'm watching, but this is really exciting, right? This is really exciting. So one time I turned this on, and I put it on, and this guy comes up, and he goes, and they're always just crazy, aren't they? And I'm watching the scene, he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on a boat, and we're in the ocean, and we're looking at the sharks. Look at the sharks over there. And he's like, we're on this boat, it's on the water, and in the water, we just threw a bunch of chub. There's blood everywhere. There's blood everywhere, and here's what we're gonna look at today, everybody. We're doing this stuff. It's like he never breathes. It's like, I don't know what to do. Should I shut it off, or should I keep watching it? So you keep watching it, we got these sharks, and here's what we're gonna discover tonight. We're gonna try to see if the sharks will go after a pack of seals or an individual seal. And he's yelling, he's explaining the seals, and you're like, oh my gosh, are they gonna kill the seals? Are they gonna kill the seals? I don't know if they're gonna kill the seals. And so you keep watching, and you're watching it, and he has these seals, right? And then he holds them up, and he's like, we got these rubber seals. And so they throw these rubber seals out and they start to film it, right? And they're filming it. You have we never know. How long does it take to get the shot? It seems like instantly. They put the things in the water and everything gets eaten, but they were probably there for days filming, right? And so they're sitting there and they're filming this thing and they pan across this view, right? And you're watching this rubber seal and you're watching it, right? And then this freaking great white shark comes out and the guy's like, crikey, did you see the shark? And he's freaking out. He's like, just as we suspected, you're far less likely to die alone than in the pack. And the credits roll. And you're like, wow, it was a rush, right? That was exciting. That was really exciting, right? But I don't think it's on accident that you can even click open and watch Discovery Channel or Animal Planet and we would find really quickly this idea, even in nature, that we are more powerful in community together than we are alone, aren't we? That we're way more likely to survive this life, to get through the hardships, to get through shark-infested waters, which I always am like, why is he doing this? Like, if I saw shark-infested waters with blood in it, I wouldn't go there. Why are you telling me that, obviously people are going to get eaten? Anyways, I got to breathe or drink or something. I need some water. But this idea that you're not just this isolated individual going through life, but we were designed to be in community together. And see, if we're designed for this community, why does it feel like we never have it? Why does it feel like I'm always alone? Why does it feel like I don't really have that people, my pack, my crew, my mighty men? Why does it feel like that? What stops us from being connected, being with one another? And so I actually researched this and looked into this about a year ago, discovering some of this and what this idea of vulnerability and what it meant. And I came across a study of a lady named Brene Brown. Absolutely incredible stuff. You should go research her stuff. It's incredible. She's actually she's a social scientist. All right? And so she did this study over 6 years. She has 3 PhDs, and she studied this one thing. She wanted to know what was the core need for humanity. And here's actually a fun fact. She started this study, and she wasn't a Christian. By the time she finished the study, she became a Christian as she started studying this stuff. And so for 6 years, she studied humans and what was the core need for humanity. She interviewed thousands of people, surveyed thousands of people, and this is what she found. That at the core of every human being, the core need for humanity was this, that every person is wired for connection. That everybody wants to feel like they belong. It was the number one common need out of every individual, the majority of the individuals that they researched. And so she continued to study this idea of connection. If this was the need for humans to be connected, why did it stop? What broke this connection? What stopped this connection? And she really identified that what stops connection is this word called shame. Connection. And so what is shame? Let me define this a little bit for you, right? So conviction or guilt says this. It says you did something wrong, right? How many of you guys, if you wronged me, or you did something, let's say you punched me in the face earlier in the lobby, how many of you would later come up and say you're sorry? Yeah? The rest of you? I'll fight you. But conviction or guilt says you did something wrong, right? You punched Richie in the face, you should probably say sorry, because that was me. Wow, claps, that's great, I'll punch you in the face. But this idea of you did something wrong, or you made a mistake. So that's what conviction says. This is what shame says. Shame says you are something wrong, or you are a mistake. That you didn't just do something wrong, or you didn't just make a mistake, but you are that something that's wrong. And you are a mistake. That's what she said blocked this connection, was this idea of people being ashamed of who they were. Of us believing that there's something wrong with me. So I'm afraid that if you get to know me, I'm going to be exposed as a fake. And I know the depths of me, and I don't want you to know that. And so we never make true connections because we're fearful we're going to be exposed. And this is what else she found. She found that all of us, every single human being, deals with shame on some level. Deals with something on some level of this idea that I'm not good enough. This lie of, yes, perfect water, Shark Week, thank you. But those who came out of shame, those who left this shame behind, this thing that really, this lie of you're not good enough, you don't cut it. Those that left it behind, they had one thing in common. The thing that got them out of their shame was this word. Vulnerability. Vulnerability. And this is what Brene defined it as. She said it's the ability to be seen and known. It's really this idea of letting go. It's really this idea of authenticity. To let go of who you think you should be and embrace who you really are. It's letting people see the real you and being okay with it. She said that everybody struggled with not feeling good enough, but the ones who overcome that were the ones who were honest with where they were at. And this is how I see it play out in our lives. Because we see shame all the time. I think all of us deal with shame. And if I had to guess, we probably deal with it in one of two ways in here. The first one is really this idea of self-hatred. Right? I mean, sitting in this room right now, myself included, I go through days where, if I'm honest, I don't really like myself very much. Or at least parts of me. I don't like how I react in situations. I don't like how I treat people. I don't like the thoughts I have sometimes. We have these feelings, these thoughts of, I don't like myself, or I'm not good enough, or I'm alone, or no one wants to hear my problems. Kind of just this, when I look at myself in the mirror, I go, I don't like me. Right? Or some of us have carried shame because of maybe past pain we've gone through. Maybe something happened to you, or you had a family issue, or a past boyfriend or girlfriend who spoke something over to you, and you started to question this idea of, am I good enough? And so as we all deal with this, here's what happens. As we go through life. We go through life, and this causes us to put on a mask. We put on this mask, this picture of who we want everybody to see. But that's not us. That's not who I really am. But I'm really good at putting on Instagram who I want people to see. I'm really good at making sure I'm tweeting the right things so people see the version I want to see. But I'm going to put on this mask because this mask tells us a lie. That there's only parts of you that are lovable. That there's only parts of you that are likable. Only certain parts of us are acceptable, and we've got to protect ourselves in letting people see these parts, or they'll realize that we're not good enough too. And so I'm going to put this mask up, and I'm not going to let anybody in. Or maybe I'll let people in kind of, but I'm only going to give them this like Instagram filtered version of me. Because I don't really want them to see what's going on. So we hide and we isolate ourselves. And so even though I could go and check out what any one of my friends are doing right now on any sort of social media, none of my friends really even know me. I don't even know if they like me. I don't even know if I like myself. And we're constantly dealing with this. And we put up these masks and we put up these walls. And they isolate us. And it's really easy to get there. It's really easy to sit in those walls. And these same walls, I said this at the beginning, the same walls that you put up, that I put up, that we put up to block her out, to not let people see who we are, these same walls that we put up are the same walls that are never going to let love in. They're never going to let us be connected. If those walls exist to block people out, they're not going to let anybody in. And so we keep them up. And so how do we get rid of this? How do we break free of this? Exactly what Brene said. How do we drop these walls? Be real. Be vulnerable. Be honest with who you are right now, because the key to community is vulnerability. That being grounded in the Lord, you need people around you, you need community, you need people in your life, and the only way to have real, authentic, genuine community is to be vulnerable with each other, to find your people who you can be honest with. What she said was vulnerability was the ability to be seen and known. It's letting people see the dark parts of your life. It's letting people see the ugly parts of your life. It's letting people see your secrets, the things that you're ashamed that have happened or that you think about. It's letting people in like that. And you're sitting there and you go, yeah, well, that's kind of scary. Yeah, it's really scary. It's scary to be real like that. But let me tell you a life-changing secret. Let me tell you a life-changing secret with this idea. Is we have much more in common with our brokenness than we do with our fakeness. That we have way more in common with the brokenness in our life than the fake person that I put out on Instagram and Twitter. What do I mean by that? You're not the only one who hates themselves. You're not the only one with divorced parents. You're not the only one who feels alone. You're not the only one with a porn addiction. You're not the only one who feels hopeless. You're not the only one who doesn't like themselves. And here's the deal. We don't like talking about that. Why? We're all afraid to be judged. We don't want to be judged. We don't want people to know us. We're all afraid of being judged, but don't realize that we all struggle with similar stuff. That we're all dealing with the same things. And once that gets exposed, once you start to realize that you're not the only person who's insecure, that you're not the only person with a broken family, that you're not the only person with a messed up past, it starts to actually unite you into community and family. Because you start to realize that there's people like me who love me and accept me just as I am. And that I don't have to hide behind this. And here's the deal. Is when you leave this room and you go into high school on Monday morning, everyone's going to tell you the opposite. The world's going to tell you that it's weak to be honest. Don't expose your brokenness, the secrets of your life. But here's the deal. That's what gives us strength. That's what makes us, our vulnerability actually gives us strength. And here's what else I know. In a small group setting, and you're going to have a chance to jump into small groups right after this, is here's what I know. Is all it takes is one person to be honest. It takes one person to be honest and to be real. And guess what happens to the rest of the group? The walls just fall down. The walls immediately fall down because we start to realize that we're similar, that we have all these messed up things, that we aren't actually that different, and these people actually don't judge me, but everybody's looking for acceptance and honesty. Who's going to be the people that actually go for it? right? I experienced this in college like crazy. I lived with my best friends, and we were in this weekly Bible study. It was at Michigan State. Actually, Drew Daniels was in it. Shout out. And we had this group, and so we would meet every week. It was really good. It was. For the first semester of our junior year, it was really good. We'd meet every week, we studied the Bible, we talk about the things in our life. But here's what was really going on. Is we'd go around the circle, right? How you doing, dude? How are things going? Oh, I'm doing good, man. Here's the good things in my life. And this is kind of hard. Dude, we were so fake. Like we were just putting out that Instagram filter of our life. We didn't really want to let each other in. And so we just shared all this stuff that was, made us feel good. We talked about theology, Bible, doctrine, all that stuff, and it was really good. But something shifted one night. One night, one of our friends walked in. And we went around the circle like we do every week. And he opened up. As we're going around, everyone's sharing their normal stuff, and he was just dead honest. And even if this makes some of you uncomfortable in the room, I think you need to hear it. He sits around the room, and everyone's sharing whatever, and he goes, I've been struggling with a porn addiction since I've been like 14 years old. And I've never told anybody about it, and I don't know what to do. You know what happened in that room? Each guy, right after that, opened up how they struggled with the same thing, and they were too afraid to tell anybody. And you know what happened after that? Is all of us started to realize, wait, I wasn't actually alone in this struggle. I wasn't actually by myself. There were people with me. And so after that, in this group, we decided, we're like, dude, let's do this thing where every week we're going to keep each other accountable. And we're going to come in, and we had this little thing where we're like, if anybody messed up or in this area of their life, every other guy was going to do 10 push-ups if a guy screwed up. And so every week we'd come there, and you know that if you screwed up, that you're going to have to watch your boys do push-ups for your mess up. And so it was this accountability of, okay, this isn't just for me, but these are for the guys around me. And it was this beautiful picture of fighting for each other in community, but it all started with one dude being honest, being real of what was going on, of what was happening in their life. And this angle of community, what happens there is everything starts to shift. Everything starts to shift when vulnerability takes over a community. When we're honest in our small groups tonight, with our friend groups, then things start to shift. And this happened in David's life. And there's another example that happens in David's life of community as well. Is there's a situation in David's life too, where it's way before the mighty men, and Saul is actually still a king. And David's not king yet. And Saul finds out that David got anointed king. You remember the story last week where David got anointed king with his brothers and all that? And so David gets anointed king, and Saul's like, I want to kill David. So he's literally hunting David down, trying to kill him. And we find this picture, and David's like hiding in this cave. He's terrified because he thinks he's going to be killed. He's going to be taken out because Saul wanted him dead. Cave, and I'll just read the one verse. He's hiding in the cave, and his best friend Jonathan comes in, and he says something in verse 17, 1 Samuel 23. He says, do not fear, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find you. You shall be king over Israel, and I shall be next to you. Saul my father also knows this. And there's this picture here that happens where David is in this cave. He's alone. Someone wants to kill him. I can't imagine what's going through his brain. I mean, we all know what it's like to feel alone in the caves of our own life, where no one's there to rescue us. And Jonathan comes in. He comes in and he reminds David of the truth. See, here's what happens when we get to a place where we're vulnerable with the people in our life. Guess what? We're still going to go through seasons where we have low periods, where we are going through struggles in our life, where we're going through that self-hatred, that shame. And this is where community comes in and reminds us of who we are and who God created us as. We need people in our life that are willing to speak love and life into us. Because everyone else and everywhere else in the world, you guys know this, dude. Everywhere else, probably outside of here, maybe even for some of you, unfortunately, in here at times, it just feels like everybody else is against you. They always want to rip on you. Dudes, I know this. There's like a culture of dudes in high school where it's like, who can be the biggest jerk and be really funny? And everyone thinks it's funny, but then you go home and you're like, wait, I feel like crap and I hate myself. And we just try to be the biggest jerk and the funniest guy in the room. Right? Dude, it happens all the time. And everywhere else, people just tear each other down and make them feel horrible. I got a question for you though. What would it look like if Edge was a place where we only spoke life into each other? Where Edge was a place where you could come and you could be open and honest with who you are. If you're new here tonight, or this is one of your first weeks, that's honestly my hope for you. Is that this would be a place where you could find home and family and be accepted exactly where you're at. What would it look like to be a community who stopped subtweeting and instead started speaking life? What would it look like to actually live out love with one another? Because we all need it. We all need the same thing. And here's what I'll say, it's just going to take one of you. It'll take one of you in your group of friends, one of you in your circles of influence to be honest and be real, and everybody else around you will. And you have no idea how powerful that shift could bring in somebody's life. I'm going to call the band up, but as they come up, I want to share a story to wrap up tonight. Is the reason I say that, you have no idea how powerful your vulnerability could be for somebody else. You see that small group that I was talking about earlier? I was at Michigan State with my buddies. It was awesome. Those guys, we opened up, we shared our struggles, all of that. And so that went on our junior year, and senior year rolls around, and we're still keeping each other accountable with our struggles and with the things going on in our life. And so there was one guy in this group. It's my buddy Isaac. He's an awesome, awesome dude. And so really what happened is after months and months of dudes opening up about struggles in their life or things going on in their life, one day we show up and Isaac is with us. And we're all sitting in the circle, right? In the same circle that we're there every week, maybe similar to your small group. And I'll never forget this. Because as each guy went around and they were being honest with what was going on, Isaac opens up, and again, just like one of those moments that happened the year before, he goes, guys, I gotta tell you something that I'm terrified to tell you. And we're like, dude, you can tell us anything. Like, this is a place where you can be honest. And he's like, dude, I'm really scared. Remember, he was like, you could feel his nervousness. And he opened up about something. I'll never forget it. And I remember sitting in that circle, and he looks at us and he goes, guys, I've got to tell you something I've never told another group of guys before. And he opens up and he tells us that his whole life he had been struggling with same-sex attraction. And he had no idea how to ever open up about it. And this is a dude who's sitting in a group of guys, maybe in the most stereotypical place where you wouldn't share this. And all I could remember was the courage that took place to share that. And you know what happened from that? Is I remember every guy like putting their arms around him, like, dude, we're with you. Like, we love you. We love you for who you are. We want to walk through life with you. And you know what I'll never forget is that situation with Isaac and him being vulnerable wouldn't have happened if someone else wasn't vulnerable before him. And that brought the greatest breakthrough in Isaac's life, the greatest freedom for him to finally be honest with where he was at. And so here's what I want to say to you guys tonight as we jump in to worship and continuing our worship here tonight. Is just be real, be vulnerable. And you're going to have a time to jump in right now to sing some songs in worship, and there's a space for you to connect with Jesus, and maybe that's where you need to start. Maybe you need to start being vulnerable there, being honest there, being real with what's going on in your heart. And maybe He'll give you the courage to jump into your small group tonight and share what's really going on. But don't leave here tonight with the thing that I know is probably on the tip of your mind. Don't not share it out of fear. Be the one who's going to be courageous and be vulnerable, because you have no idea the impact that could have for the people around you too. So let's jump into worship.
Your constant grace of your cross. God, as we take this time to just be with you, to just hear your voice, God, would you just give courage and strength to everyone in this room to be vulnerable, to be honest, to be real, ultimately with you, but then with their community, their friends, their family. God, we thank you that no matter what, you accept us and you love us. You take us in. We love you. Amen. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song. Up to heaven, sing it out. Up to heaven. title the same as this song, alright? I've never led it for Ed, so I want you guys to scream it out for me, okay? Your love pulls me out the wall, and I've been sinking in. Your love is deeper than you are. I can see your light breaking. Come on, I can see your light breaking in. Come on, give me your why. Why? Your love is why. Strong through every rise and fall. Your love is conquered. Come on. You're wild. Now run to the fire. His arms forever open wide. I'm not alone, I'm not forgotten. And he will never, no, you will never leave my side. Oh, why your love is why. You conquer it. Strong through every rise and fall. Your love is conquered. Oh, you're wild. Why your love is wild. You conquer it. Strong through every rise and fall. Your love has conquered all. You're wild for me. You'll pour it out for your glory, for your name. I'll surrender all my life, for all my days. There's nothing more that I want right now. Come on, pour it out. We'll pour it out for your glory, for your name. Surrender all my life, for all my days. There's nothing more that I want right now. That's not all you got. Here we go. Come on, pour it out. Pour it out for your glory, for your name. I surrender all my life, for all my days. There's nothing more than I want right now. Oh, we pour it out, pour it out. Pour it out for your glory, for your name. I surrender all my life, for all my days. There's nothing more I want right now. Oh, you're wild, your love is wild. You conquer it. Strong through every rise and fall. Your love has conquered all. Oh, you're wild. Wild, your love is wild. You conquer it. Strong through every rise and fall. Your love has conquered all. Oh, you're wild for me.
Pray with me. God, we just ask that would be our prayer tonight. That we would believe that your love is so wild, that it's pursuing us so deeply, God, that we want nothing more than to pour it out. And so, God, I pray for every student in this room that maybe came in this place feeling shame, or came in this place feeling like they were alone and didn't belong. God, I pray that before they leave tonight, that they would know that there's a God who knows them, that He's covered that shame, and that there's a community that loves them deeply. And so as we continue this conversation in small group, God, let our words be glorifying to you and honoring you in all that we say and do. So we love you. We thank you for the things you've done and the things you'll continue to do. We pray this all in your name. Amen. Well, hey, just a couple quick things before you guys continue the conversation in small group. If you want an SLT app, you want to get involved, Richie's going to be out by the table before you head to group. Make sure you pick one up. And then be sure to sign up online for Wild and continue this conversation in small group.